Problem number 2, we first want to list our lowest common denominator, and that, again, we get that by factoring every denominator. And when we factor each denominator, we see we have 3 times x plus 3 is 3x plus 9, and the second denominator factors as x times x plus 3. Well, our lowest common denominator then is 3x times x plus 3. Well, if that's our lowest common denominator, then what we want to do is we want to take our first fraction and we want to multiply it by 1, ultimately, whatever, and, well, I'll get to that. Multiplying by 1, you know, like I said, I'll get to that. Negative 3 over x times x plus 3. So, here's where I get to that. This first fraction, this denominator needs an x. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by x because it's the one factor in this denominator that it's missing in order to become the lowest common denominator. Likewise, in this second fraction, the second fraction is missing a 3 in the denominator, so we're going to add that factor in. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 3. And then our new numerator is x times x, or x squared. And our new our other new numerator is negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Our lowest common denominator is 3x times x plus 3. Because when the denominators are the same, you combine the numerators and then you keep the denominator. Well, we should recognize here that x squared minus 9 is the difference of two squares, which is x plus 3 times x minus 3 all over 3x times x plus 3. Now, the one thing I didn't do that I need to do now before I cancel anything, this is really, really important. Before you cancel anything, you have to identify what in the denominators is x not allowed to be. Well, here x is not allowed to equal 0. And x is not allowed to equal, if x plus 3 is 0, then if x is negative 3, it would make that factor 0. So x is not allowed to equal 0 or negative 3. And anyway, here we have our simplified version of this initial problem, which we can see we have an x plus 3 over an x plus 3, which both cancel. And then so what we end up with is x minus 3 in the numerator and a 3x in the denominator. And we can leave that alone. We could just put a box around that and feel good. We're done.